Why don't you tell us a little bit, because we've had long conversations, about why you set up what you did and the idea about what you're offering affiliates. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how it actually works?
Okay, so we're currently in beta, which is a great place to be in, because with all of these things, if you don't test relentlessly, then you're going to find fault very, very quickly. The nature of automation is that it will, these things will do exactly what you tell them to do and nothing else. And that's why it's really important to test. And I've seen that with other products coming to market, whatever they might be, I've seen certainly with SaaS type products that not a lot of testing or rigorous testing has gone into place to find out how robust these systems are. To be producing the same outcome all the time. So we're taking our time with the beta testing to make sure that it functions the way that I envision it functioning in my head. That's a hard task for a lot of the IT guys to sort of interpret what I'm talking about, but that's where we're at. So, but what that means is that when we launch and we come to market, there's going to be some really exciting tools, as we've sort of touched upon in the past. But to give you a little bit of color as regards those, we're taking the or giving the ability to our affiliates, our agents, who are in pretty much any industry, but mainly focused in the beginning in the financial services industry, the ability to monetize things that they have, their traffic that they have, the ability to turn that traffic into sales, and then obviously get a commission at the end of it, and have this automated 24/7. There's a lot of people who are working as an intermediary, as an agent, who are doing it as a side hustle and are doing it very, very well as a side hustle. And there's then others that are doing it full time because it is just a business to them, connecting people up to different partners and to be making a commission. Either way, if you're choosing it as a side hustle or as your business, it needs to be professional and needs to be running correctly, right? Nobody's going to want to sign up with you if it's perceived easily that this is just a side hustle for you, that it's just, you've become, the customer's become a gimme for someone. So what we've really through my adventures with sales and marketing and interacting with some great companies that, at the top of the game when it comes to marketing in different industries, there's some very, very common themes or very common best practices that we can follow that have already been established. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just making sure that the tire has got the right pressure and it's got the right tread, right? So with these best practices, what we've done is, rather than focus on, your old school, let's just mail out as loads of emails as possible and somebody will get a bite and we'll get them on the phone, we're actually doing it in a much more sort of a sniper type scenario, rather than a sort of blanket bombing everything. And what that means is that you, as the affiliate, as the agent, you might already have a load of your data, databases that you've built up, clients that you've built up, customer contacts that you've built up, and we are basically presenting an opportunity for them to drive the traffic to an associated page, which is unique to them. And then they will, once the customer then goes through a basic process, a sales system process of signing up and being contacted and being marketed to, right the way through to closing of the business. So it's a fantastic way for people to re-energize their databases, right, that might have been stagnant, and start to introduce that credibility, that information that is required, and start building up a rapport with that individual that's opening up the emails. Now, obviously, all of these things are extremely trackable. As I say, we're not reinventing the wheel here. What we're doing is we're just taking the best parts of the system that we know gets the highest results, and following that, You know, it's a bit like trading, right? You can trade throughout the month, and you can have 4 winners and you can have 30 losers, but the 4 winners are bigger than the losers, and they're the ones that works. You know, that's your ratio. And we're kind of going down that rule of thumb of trying to make sure that we know we're going to get a lot of no's, right? Everybody gets a lot of emails, right? But where our quality comes in is not only in the ability to write good sales material that works, or good sales copy, but again with the automation as well, and how that's timed so that people are starting to be interactive rather than just receiving. We've all received emails, especially if you're in financial services. You know, you're getting your competitors, you know, emails all day long, and you know, you may open them for the first week, 2 weeks, and then after that you're just like, oh, it's a sales email. You just don't bother.
Well, just as a funny side note, today I received a connection request on LinkedIn, right, from an account manager of sorts, and you know, unless there's something blatantly wrong with it, I usually accept, right? I open it up, and she says, "Thank you for accepting, you know, the invitation, blah blah blah. I work in the financial industry. Have you ever heard about what was it, crypto, forex? You know, just a whole bunch of those things, right? Are you interested in hearing more about it?" And I think to myself, do you just randomly send out to various people? I mean, because if you just look a little bit at the various groups I'm in and all that, I'm not a qualified lead for you.
Yeah,
you know?
and this is, you know, I found this to be very true. You know, as you know, I founded the Introducing Brokers and Agents LinkedIn group years ago. And that was obviously, you know, I was working in the bank and I wanted to be building up my network of introducing brokers and agents. Mm-hmm. And I found it absolutely incredible that from the get-go, introducing agents and brokers from different, you know, brokerage outfits were coming on and trying to pitch people. You know, like, have they ever heard of Forex? Do you know what binary options are? This is a group which is made up of industry professionals. Not customers, right?
Yeah.
And now it's one thing to say, hey, listen, I've got an introducing broker program. This is what we're doing. These are our points.
Right.
You know, I get that. I understand that. Still, it's a pretty shitty place to be doing it, because the reality is that most of your colleagues in that group have just done the same thing, right? Because people
Mm-hmm.
aren't scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen, certainly with LinkedIn, for example, which is a great, you know, business-to-business tool, is that the automation of, you know, collecting invites or sending out invites and collecting contacts and whatnot has gone to this extreme whereby we all get automated, you know, there's some robot, there's some whatever, we're all getting automated invitations and whatnot, and then straight away it's a presentation about why you should invest with them. And that proves that the automation works. What they've failed is that they are targeting the wrong people, and
Mm-hmm.
and they've just, you know, continually will just find themselves trying or effectively connecting with the wrong people and pitching the wrong idea to the wrong person every single day, hour after hour, and wonder why they're not getting any business. It becomes a circle jerk. So I think that's really been a great thing to sort of highlight and understand that, you know, again, automation works if it's set up the correct way.